Chapter 20. Let us out, Christina shrieked, her eyes wide with panic. Uttering an angry cry, she reached out and grabbed the steering wheel. Art hit the brake. The car jolted hard, the tires skidding on the slick pavement. Car horns honked. James was jerked forward. His head hit the headrest on Christina's seat. Then he was tossed back against his own seat. He looked up in time to see Art elbow Christina hard, shoving her back toward her side. She cried out in pain, and her hands flew off the wheel. A blue van to their left swerved sharply as Art struggled to get the car back in the lane. More horns honked. "That was stupid," Art said, breathing hard, glancing angrily at Christina. "I don't get this," James said, thinking hard, trying to figure out his best move. "I really don't get this." "I'll bet you don't," Art said quietly, narrowing his eyes as he glanced at James in the rearview mirror. Christina grabbed the door handle again. She tried to pull up the door lock. Art reached over with his right hand. He grabbed her shoulder and swung her back. "Let me out," Christina screamed. She began waving wildly at the driver of the blue van. Keeping his left hand on the wheel, Art reached under the seat. When his right hand emerged, it was holding a small silver pistol. "Now maybe we can all calm down," he said. Christina gasped. "Are you going to shoot us?" "I don't want to," Art said. "I really don't want to." He took his eyes off the road to stare at her. "It's really up to you." "What do you want?" James asked Art, placing a hand on Christina's trembling shoulder. Art frowned and didn't reply. "Everybody just settle down. Enjoy the ride," he said. He drove with one hand, holding the gun tightly in the other, which he rested on his lap. "We're back in Florida," Christina wailed, smearing the clouded window with her hand so that she could read the passing signs. "The Sunshine State," Art said quietly, "and look, the clouds are lifting." He switched off the windshield wipers. The clouds were still hovering darkly, but appeared to be pulling apart. A patch of blue sky poked through low on the horizon. "Why did you follow us last night?" James demanded, leaning forward, his hand still on Christina's shoulder. "What do you want? Do you want money? We don't have any money." "Shut up and sit back," Art snapped, raising the pistol. "Enough talk. Everyone just shut up." James obediently let go of Christina's shoulder and slid back in his seat. Christina uttered a loud sigh. "Let us go, please. We won't tell anyone about this. Really?" Art slammed the side of the gun hard against the dashboard, startling Christina and James. "I said shut up." Christina let out a short cry of protest, but didn't say anything. James edged back in the seat, thinking hard, trying to figure out a plan to get them out of this jam. "Maybe I'd better wait till we get out of the car," he thought. "But where is he taking us? And who is he?" James wondered. "What does he want with us? Is he just a kidnapper? Why on earth would he want to kidnap us? Don't kidnappers only kidnap rich kids so they can get a big ransom? No, James decided. This isn't a simple kidnapping. But what is it? He turned sideways in the seat and studied Art. He isn't that big, James thought. He doesn't look like he works out or anything. I can probably take him. Yes, I can definitely take him. The pistol is a problem, but not that big of a problem. I'll just have to wait for the right moment. They continued making their way south. The highway was dry there. The clouds gave way to blue skies. The afternoon sun beamed down from directly above. The air inside the car became hot and uncomfortable. Christina sat stiffly, staring out the side window, her hands tightly knotted in her lap. Her hair was disheveled. Several long curls had fallen over her eyes, but she made no attempt to brush them aside. "Where are you taking us?" she asked in a soft, trembling voice, breaking several minutes of silence. "You'll see," Art replied, the gun still clenched tightly in his hand. He slowed to turn off the highway. I can jump out, James thought, his muscles tensing. He reached for the door handle. The car slowed even more to make the turn. James took a deep breath, then hesitated. He removed his hand from the handle and settled back. Art maneuvered the car along a narrow road that led through thick forest on both sides. Picking up speed, the car bumped and bounced over the potholed road. The air grew steamy and wet. There wasn't another car in sight. James recognized beech trees and cypresses and weeping willows that seemed to bend sadly onto the road. We're heading into swamplands, James realized. Upraised tree roots raised up from thickly puddled mud. Vines hung down over the wet, leafy underbrush. A one-lane bridge carried them over a dried-up pond. Almost home, Art said, talking to himself. He glanced at Christina. I hope you like my little swamp cabin. Actually, it belongs to a friend, but I know he won't mind if we make use of it. And then he added ominously, we won't be using it long. Christina turned to check on James. Her eyes were wide with terror. Her lower lip was trembling. James raised a finger to his lips as if to say, shh, don't worry. But as Art pulled the car onto an unpaved path that led through the trees, James felt a cold shiver of fear that started at the back of his neck and ran down his entire body. Cold, paralyzing terror. Back there in the thick swamp with no one around for miles, Art could do whatever he wanted to them, and there was no hope of anyone coming to the rescue. No hope at all. The car began to climb as the dirt road sloped up. The trees were so thick and tangled that it grew dark as evening, with only occasional rays of sunlight able to penetrate the leafy overhead covering. Ow! Christina cried out as the car hit a deep hole in the road. Art laughed out loud. He pulled the car to a stop in front of a small clapboard cabin. Home sweet home, he said, turning to Christina. Look how nice and private it is. No neighbors at all. No nosy neighbors to interfere with our party. What are you going to do? Christina demanded, sounding more frightened than angry. Art raised a gun and waved it toward Christina's car door. Get out. Christina hesitated. He pulled the gun back, threatening to hit her with it. She swallowed hard and reached for the door handle. You too, Art called back to James. A few seconds later, all three of them were standing outside the car, staring at the small, flat-roofed cabin. It wasn't much bigger than a shed. Peering in through the one window, James saw that it was dark inside. An aluminum bucket, half filled with rainwater, stood tilted by the front door. Several crushed beer cans littered the dirt in front of the cabin. A fishing rod without a reel leaned against one wall. Art kicked a beer can across the dirt. Looks like my friend has been here recently, he said, his face expressionless. He turned, yawning loudly, and stretched, arching his back and raising both hands above his head. Oh, long drive. This is my chance, James thought, feeling his muscles tense. His back is turned. I can catch him off guard. I can tackle him to the ground. I can take him. James hesitated for only a brief moment. Then, with a running start, he leapt at Art's back. Chapter 21. As he made his jump, James raised his arms to tackle Art, but Art wheeled around quickly and swung his knee up, driving it deep into James's stomach. Ugh! The impact sent the air rushing out of James's lungs. Pain shot through him, shocking him, crippling him in midair. As he dropped to his knees, James struggled to suck in fresh air, but the pain was too much. He couldn't breathe in or out. It hurt too much. Everything hurt. Even his eyelids hurt. He knew he was going down. Down, down, down. Everything was so bright, and then so dark. James opened his eyes. It was still so dark. He blinked, once, twice. Things started to come into focus. He was inside the cabin, he realized. Pale light flickered in from the only window. He tried to stand up, but something held him back. Christina? He called. She was beside him, seated in a stiff-backed wooden chair. Art stood behind her, unwrapping a length of white cord in his hands. I'm tied up, James realized. He was in a matching straight-backed chair, his hands tied behind his back. Cord wrapped tightly around his waist. Hey, he called. He didn't recognize his own voice. It sounded muffled, far away. You're back among the living, Art asked, a grin spreading across his narrow face. His eyeglasses glinted from the sunlight pouring in through the window. They appeared to be lighted up, almost aflame. What's going on? James managed to ask. His stomach ached. He could feel his pulse throbbing in his wrists. The cord was so tight. You made a very stupid move, Art said matter-of-factly, and you paid for it. Don't tie me up, please, Christina begged. Art ignored her. Holding a section of the cord taut, he moved in front of her. Hold out your hands. Please, Christina begged, her voice shrill, about to burst into tears. Please? Hold out your hands, Art repeated patiently. Listen, we haven't done anything to you, James told him. Why are you doing this? Hold your hands together, Art instructed Christina. She reluctantly held out her hands. They were trembling. James saw that her whole body was shaking. Then, suddenly, Christina's expression changed. She gazed into Art's eyes. Listen, Art, I'll do something really nice for you if you let us go, she said in a breathy voice. Art hesitated. What did you say? I said I have something nice for you. Christina's voice was teasing, almost playful. I'll give it to you if you let us go. It'll be worth it, Art. Really, it will. Christina, what are you saying? James exclaimed. Chapter 22. Art stared thoughtfully at Christina. Do I look stupid to you? He asked. Christina's mouth dropped open. Huh? Do I look stupid to you? He repeated. First your pal here tries to drop me from behind. Then you start coming on to me. I'm not stupid. I'm not coming on to you, Christina protested. I'm serious. I have something I'll give you if you let James and me go. What? Art asked, leaning over her menacingly. Money, Christina replied. She glanced at James, then quickly looked away. Money? Where would you get money? Art asked skeptically. I have it. A lot, Christina told him. Let us go. I'll give it to you. Art snapped the cord between his hands. You're lying. No, really, I'm not, Christina protested. Art leaned over her. I'm warning you. James closed his eyes, thinking hard. He knew Christina had no money. She had told him so. What was she talking about? What was her plan? Was she just stalling for time? If so, it was stupid. She was just going to make Art angrier than he already was. James opened his eyes. The light from the window dimmed, casting the small room in shadow. In the darker light, the white cord between Art's hands appeared to glow. Outside, trees whispered and bent. The only sound, James thought. The only sound for miles. We're all alone here. All alone. And Christina's trying to bribe her way out with money she doesn't have. James let his eyes wander rapidly about the cabin. He was searching for a weapon. Anything. Anything he might be able to use on Art if he got the chance. But except for a square wooden table and the 2 chairs he and Christina were sitting on, and a stack of yellowing newspapers in the corner, the cabin was bare. Show me the money, Art told Christina, staring at her hard, trying to determine if she was telling the truth. Do you promise to let us go? Christina asked, again glancing at James. Yeah, okay, Art replied, if it's enough money. It's in my bag, Christina said. She pointed to the car outside the window. In the trunk? She stood up. Shall I go get it? Art grabbed her shoulders and pushed her down roughly. Don't trouble yourself. I'll go, he said. He turned his eyes to James. Remember, I still have a gun. Don't either of you make a move. I'm real serious. Real serious. Can't you tell? He strode quickly across a small, dark room and out the door. James turned to Christina and whispered, I don't get it. What are you doing? Maybe he'll let us go, Christina whispered back. But you don't have any money, James started. Art returned, carrying Christina's small suitcase. He dropped it heavily onto her lap. Show me the money. You better not be lying. I'm not, Christina insisted. Her hand was shaking as she unzipped the lid to the suitcase. What does she think she's doing? James wondered. This is only going to make Art even madder. Christina fumbled through the wadded-up clothing in the bag. Here, she said. She held up a brown wallet. James stared at the wallet, bewildered. There's nearly $1,000 in here, Christina told Art. He snatched the wallet from her hand. Go ahead, count it, she said. James's mouth dropped open. He turned to Christina, an expression of disbelief on his face. It's Paul's wallet, he cried. You stole my cousin's wallet? Shut up, she snapped. He had no business leaving it out like that. No wonder you and Terry thought it was Paul who was following us, James said, shaking his head. Shut up? Just shut up? Christina warned sharply. Yeah, it's $1,000, Art said, folding the wad of bills in half and tucking them into his trouser pocket. He tossed the wallet across the cabin. You can have it, Christina told him, staring defiantly at James. I don't believe this, James muttered. I already have it, Art said, smiling. So you'll let us go? Christina asked hopefully. Sure, okay. You can go, Art said. Chapter 23. We can go? Christina asked uncertainly. She started to pull herself to her feet. An unpleasant smile formed on Art's face. His eyes danced alertly behind his glasses. He stood poised in the center of the cabin, waiting for Christina to make a move. You were lying, Christina said, lowering her eyes in disappointment, long corkscrew curls falling over her face. Yeah, I was lying, Art replied, pleased with himself. But thanks for the extra cash. I might not have found it when I went through your stuff later. Later? What are you going to do to us? Christina asked, raising her head to stare at him, her expression as lifeless as her voice. He shrugged in reply. Did you really think I would let you go? He asked, taunting her now. Did you really think I was that stupid? No, Christina sobbed. Yes. Did you really think that $1,000 is enough to pay for what you did? Art asked, leaning over Christina, lowering his face close to hers. What? Christina cried. What did I do? Tell me. He glared at her, breathing hard, but didn't reply. James silently worked his hands behind his back, trying to loosen the cord, but his actions only made the cord tighter. It cut painfully into his wrists. He stopped, uttering a defeated sigh, and let his body go slack. Art picked up the length of cord and pulled it taut between his hands. Put your hands behind your back, he instructed Christina, taking a step back, lowering his voice, forcing back his anger. Christina didn't move. She kept her hands on the sides of the chair bottom. She glared up at Art. Just tell us why you're doing this, she demanded. Hands behind your back, Art repeated, snapping the cord loudly in front of her. Christina shook her head. I want to know why you've done this. Why did you follow us? Why did you kidnap us? Why? I think you know, Art said, his anger seething once again to the surface. Hands, he shouted. Seeing him begin to lose his temper, Christina felt a wave of fear sweep over her. She obediently clasped her hands behind her back. Art moved behind the chair and quickly began wrapping the white cord around her wrists. Don't you ever brush your hair? He asked her. It'll be a little hard with my hands tied, she shot back, but then her voice revealed her fear. Aren't you going to answer my question? Aren't you going to tell us what this is all about? I think you know, he said again, knotting the cord. Bright sunlight angled in through the window, and the room brightened. The light seemed to point to a small stove against the back wall of the cabin. On top of it, James spotted a metal cooking pot. A weapon, he thought. If only I could free myself. Keeping his back straight, James tried once again to move his hands, but the pain from the tight cord was too sharp. Again he gave up, staring at the heavy pot, so near, almost within reach, yet so far. I think you know why you're here, Art repeated, backing to the center of the cabin, his eyes locked on Christina's. Please, she cried. Why do you keep saying that? I have no idea. Really? A single tear rolled down her cheek. She stared back at Art through tangled curls. Art's expression turned angry. His face reddened. His hands balled into tight fists at his sides. Do I have to give you a hint? He screamed, losing control. Do I? Just tell us, Christina started. Here's a hint, he cried. My name is Art Eckridge. Does that mean anything to you? No, Christina cried. She shook her head. No, no, no. Art Eckridge, Art repeated, screaming his name. No, I don't know you, Christina insisted, tears rolling down her cheeks. Well, I know you, Art declared, advancing on her. You and your friend. You're the ones who killed my father. Chapter 24. Art is insane, James thought. He's crazy, messed up. You killed my father. The words sent a chill down James's back. We're not dealing with a rational person here, he realized. We're dealing with a psycho. Art has totally lost it. He's out of his mind. There's no way we'll be able to reason with him. Roger Eckridge, Art bellowed at Christina. Roger Eckridge. Roger Eckridge. Christina shut her eyes and cringed, trying to edge away from the shouted words. Now do you know why you're here? Art screamed, his eyes bulging behind the glasses, his face tomato red. No, Christina insisted, violently shaking her head. I don't know that name. I don't know you. You're wrong. Roger Eckridge, Art screamed again. You killed him. You and your friend. I didn't kill anybody, James protested. Not you, Art said, turning toward James, a startled look on his face, as if he had forgotten James was there. Not you, her, and her girlfriend. He pointed wildly at Christina. Terry, Christina cried. What do you know about Terry? I already took care of Terry, Art said, still breathing hard but lowering his voice. Christina uttered a loud sob. You've made a mistake, James said, trying to keep his voice low and steady. You have the wrong people. It's just a mix-up. If someone killed your father... She and her friend killed my father, Art said, shaking his finger at Christina. No, Christina protested. You're wrong. She turned frantically to James. Her glance said, What are we going to do? How can we convince him that he's made a mistake? James stared back at her in bewilderment. He felt cold all over. His wrists ached. His hands tingled sharply. The cord had cut off their circulation. Art is crazy. The phrase repeated itself in James's mind. He is crazy, and we're going to die. I warned Dad so many times not to pick up hitchhikers, Art said, sounding excited but not angry now. He walked to the window, turned, and lowered himself onto the windowsill, blocking most of the sunlight, casting the cabin in shadow. Art, listen, Christina started. I warned Dad, Art repeated, ignoring Christina's plea. I told him time and again that it just wasn't safe to stop for people these days, but Dad wouldn't listen. Dad always wanted to believe the best in people. Even with all the news stories, all the horror stories every day in the newspaper, Dad wanted to believe that people were good, that people were brought up to be nice to each other. Art reached into his pants pocket and removed a small silver pistol. It caught the sunlight from the window as he raised it, sending a ray of light darting around the small cabin. The light flashed in James's eyes. He shut them. If only I could shut my eyes, then open them, and this would all be gone, James thought sadly. But when he opened his eyes, everything was the same. Art still sat against a low windowsill, slapping the pistol now against his palm. 8,000 times I told Dad not to pick up hitchhikers, Art continued, but it was a habit he couldn't break. You see, Dad was kind. That's a word you don't hear very much these days. Kind. He glared at Christina. You probably don't know that word, do you? Christina's cheeks were pale and wet from her silent tears. Art, let us help you, she begged. Let us help you get to the police. They'll find the ones who really killed your father. Yeah, Dad was kind, Art continued. He didn't seem to hear Christina. He seems to be in his own world, staring at the floorboards as he talked. He believed in helping people, Art said. He believed we all had to look out for one another. That's why he always stopped for hitchhikers. He said hitchhikers always looked so lonely, so desperate, so needy. That's why Dad couldn't pass them by. That's why he picked you up, he said, turning his eyes to Christina. You and your girlfriend. It wasn't us, Christina cried, struggling to free her hands. You have to believe me, it wasn't us? Art's face twisted into a menacing snarl. Listen to me, Christina pleaded. Give me a chance. It wasn't Terry and me. It was James. James killed your father. I know he did. Chapter 25. James killed your father? Christina screamed. Whoa! James uttered an astonished cry. He turned to Christina, but she avoided his gaze. You've got to believe me, Art. James told me the whole story. James told me how he killed your father. Art jumped to his feet. Christina cried out, startled by the sudden move. Art took a step toward James, then another. Hey, this is crazy, James cried. He stared at Christina. Christina, what are you doing? Why did you say that? Because it's true, Christina snapped back. Tell him, James. Tell Art how you hitched a ride with his dad and how you killed him. Tell Art the story you told me. Art took another step toward James, his expression dark and menacing. Christina, you liar, James cried, his throat choked with panic. You believe me, don't you, Art? Christina asked. James confessed everything to me. You believe me, right, Art? I don't believe you, Art said softly. He raised a gun waist high in front of him. But James told me, Christina insisted shrilly. I don't believe you because I was there, Art said quietly. I was there, Christina, and I saw you and your girlfriend. No, that's impossible. It was James, Christina started. But Art silenced her with a wave of his pistol. She gasped and snapped back in the chair as if she had been shot. You were there? Art nodded, holding the gun poised. Clouds drifted over the sun again. Shadows lengthened over the cabin. Darkness swept over everything. Dad was heading home, Art said, scratching his temple with the barrel of the pistol. I was driving to visit him, driving toward you. I saw you and your girlfriend push him out of the car. You dumped him onto the side of the highway and drove off. I wanted to go after you, but I had to stop and take care of Dad. No, Christina cried. No, no, no. She shook her head violently, her eyes closed. Is she denying it? James wondered. Or does she just want Art to stop accusing her? No, no, no. Yes, Art insisted. I was there. I saw you. I saw Terry. You killed my father. You dumped him onto the highway and stole his car. No, no. Christina tossed her head back against the wooden chair back. Her eyes were closed, and her features were twisted in agony. Terry told me everything, Art continued, ignoring Christina's reaction. Terry confessed to everything this morning, before I took care of her. Took care of her? James asked, his voice muffled by fear. Before I punished her for her crime, Art said, keeping his eyes on Christina. He lowered the pistol and cradled it in both hands. Christina's shoulders heaved and her body convulsed with a loud sob. I guess you're going to tell me how sorry you are, Art said dryly. I didn't mean to kill him, Christina blurted out, large tears glistening down her cheeks, staining her t-shirt. James swallowed hard. I don't believe this, he thought. All the time I was riding with Terry and Christina, and we were listening to the radio and hearing all those news reports about the old man being killed by a hitchhiker. All the time, the girls knew that they had been the ones who did it. He leaned forward, wriggling his hands, trying to get the blood flowing, trying to make them stop tingling. His mind filled with whirling images. He could picture Christina and Terry pushing the old man out the car door, then speeding away. Then he pictured Christina stealing his cousin Paul's wallet. I've been such a jerk, James thought. I came along with them. I was so knocked out by Christina, I even thought she cared about me. I thought I was a tough guy. I thought I knew what was going down. And all the while, a wave of anger descended over him, tightening his muscles, building until he wanted to scream. I've been such a jerk, such a stupid jerk. I didn't mean to kill him, Christina was telling Art, her voice trembling with emotion, her eyes filled with fear. You have to believe me. I didn't mean to hit the old guy so hard. My hand just slipped, that's all. His head, it cracked. I didn't want to. Her voice caught in her throat. She gasped for breath. Art stood patiently over her, not saying a word, waiting for her to continue. Terry and I, we only wanted the car, Christina continued, still breathing hard, staring down at the floor as she spoke. We were so tired of hitching, so tired of all the boys stopping and hitting on us, giving us a hard time. We had no money, she continued. These boys we met in Lauderdale at the beach, they stole our money. Great guys, huh? Terry and I didn't have enough money to call home, and we were so tired. So you decided to take advantage of an old man, Art said bitterly. Christina nodded. But we didn't mean to kill him. You've got to believe that. We just wanted the car. We just wanted to get home. But the old man, your dad. I got him to the hospital, Art said, staring down at Christina, the gun still cradled in both hands. Then I headed north. I figured I'd find you sooner or later. I figured you'd be too dumb to dump the car. Christina nodded sadly. We should have gotten rid of it sooner. Terry and I argued about that. I told Terry we couldn't keep the car that long, but she was such a wimp. She kept insisting we could get away. Where is the car? Art demanded angrily. He raised the pistol and took a step toward Christina. Why were you hitching this morning? Where is my dad's car? I hid it last night, Christina stammered. Huh? James cried in surprise. She turned to him. I made Terry take you for a walk in the woods last night. I knew we had to dump the car. I knew that's why we were being followed, but I didn't want you to suspect anything. When you were safely off with Terry, I took the car and hid it. James shook his head. I can't believe it, he thought. I'm such a jerk. Such a jerk. Christina's face suddenly brightened. She turned back to Art. I'll take you to the car, she said. Art stared down at her, studying her face. He didn't reply. I'll show you where it is, Christina insisted. Untie me. I'll take you there. You want to get your father's car back, don't you? Art remained silent. His eyes appeared to glaze over. He lost all expression, as if he were deep in thought. I'll take you there, Christina repeated, sounding very desperate. Please, let me show you where the car is. Another long pause. Finally, Art answered her. No way, he said softly. I've got other plans for you.